This is the weirdest answer of the night. I'm going to give that to Joe Biden. This video is not going to be long, and I'm not even going to have the flip side, so I would say like, share, subscribe now. That's only if you like the video. Joe Biden is asked the question, do you believe the Sanders and Warren wealth tax plans demonize the rich? Now, Sanders, to be fair, goes for this notion of a class war, and I believe Sanders is right. He argues that a class war has essentially been inflicted on the American population, with that population essentially being unaware of the fact that the class war had already started. I would argue, if given the opportunity, if you talk to him, maybe, I don't know if he would say it, but I would say it, you also have a situation where those millionaires set the framing and the context of the debates which are had on television. And it's just so happened that everybody on television are millionaires. They're a member of that particular class, and their framing and the way they look at the world is according to such. It's not weird in that sense. It would be odd if they didn't have that perspective. Yes, I think you can pull the perspective of the country to a particular direction if the politics are right. But the way we have it currently, for all intents and purposes, the media props up a particular class. And this question, again, is framed by that class. Do you believe in Sanders' wealth tax wags the finger at the rich? Understand, we've had a society where people, human beings, have essentially been put in a situation where they are less than profit. And that has essentially been the modus operandi. When they pass those quote-unquote trade bills, those aren't necessarily trade bills. Those are trade bills that deal with domestic policy. And those jobs get shipped out of the country. That hurts us. That hurts our workers while we're fighting these foreign wars. And all of this money gets sucked out of the budget, paying $1 trillion. $23 trillion in debt. $7 trillion of that money essentially happened from that Iraq war. What do you have to show for that $23 trillion? What do you have to show? I would argue to you that part of the reason that we got Trump is because 95% of the wealth went to the top 1%. And that number is astonishing. And that number happened under a Democrat. This is not wagging the finger at the rich. This is not demonizing the rich. This is a recognition that this society has not worked to the best ends of the 99% in the society itself. That's what this is about. This is about wealth inequality spiking. This is about wages not keeping up with productivity. This is about a host of issues, mainly, entirely, dealing with class. Hey, Joe Biden, you're representing that wing in the Democratic Party. Do you believe that Sanders and Warren wealth tax, I think Warren's plan is just 2 cents over $50 million. How modest. How modest. Warren has said she's a capitalist to her bones. Do you believe that that 2 cents over $50 million? And it sounds ridiculous when you say it, right? 2 cents over $50 million. Why not 50 cents over $50 million? 2 cents seems so modest. What does Joe Biden think? Listen to this carefully.
Guess what? Why in God's name should someone who's clipping coupons in the stock market in fact, pay a lower tax rate than someone who, in fact, is, like I said, a school teacher and a firefighter?
Say that one more time, Joe Biden.
Guess what? Why in God's name should someone who's clipping coupons in the stock market in fact, pay a lower tax rate than someone who, in fact, is, like I said, a school teacher and a firefighter? It's ridiculous. Guess what? Why in God's name should someone who's clipping coupons in the stock market in fact, pay a lower tax rate than someone who, in fact, is, like I said, a school teacher and a firefighter?
Now, initially the person thought he said fire pirate. He said firefighter. I thought he said firefighter when I was at the debates party. But listen to what he says in the first part of this answer. It is the weirdest thing in the world.
Guess what? Why in God's name should someone who's clipping coupons in the stock market?
Someone who's clipping coupons in the stock market? Who on earth is clipping coupons in the stock market? And his point is, why should people who essentially play the market pay less than people who are firefighters and school teachers? Meaning the low income spectrum in our society, meaning my tax rate, it's the tax rate of a school teacher. My grandmother used to be a teacher. Paying, I forget the exact effective rate of tax, but the people who essentially use the stock markets as their revenue source pay a greater, much lesser rate, if I'm not mistaken, 14%, as opposed to the 20 or more percent that we pay on our taxes. Joe Biden just said clipping coupons. What is Joe Biden talking about? Clipping coupons?
Guess what? Why in God's name should someone who's clipping coupons in the stock market?
Clipping coupons on the stock market. I got to be honest, this is one of the weirdest answers. And maybe Joe Biden didn't exactly know what he was talking about. Why in God's name should somebody who's clipping coupons in the stock market make, in fact, pay a lower tax rate? I have no idea who is clipping coupons paying the stock market. I don't think they care from the standpoint of saving that 25 cent on bleach or that 10 cent on donuts. I don't think if you are making such bucks off the stock market that clipping coupons is one of the things that you spend your time doing, especially if you don't have to do that. And I would make the point that if you have so much cash that you're living off your earnings in the stock market, clipping coupons is not an exercise that you engage in. This is one of the weirdest answers. And it went off without anybody saying anything.
Make, in fact, pay a lower tax rate than someone who, in fact, is, like I said, a school teacher and a fireman.
Somebody should have turned to Joe Biden in that debate and says, Joe, I don't know who is clipping coupons playing the stock market for their wages. Weirdest question award. Joe Biden. Like, share, subscribe. I have a few of the debate things because there was a debate last night. And in looking at what is taking place, the debates are kind of like a holiday. There's another video I want to do on Sanders. There's another video I want to do on Gabbard. So bear with me. I'll be back in a moment. Thanks all.